interesting and emerging technology like blockchain, which is need of today. As I'm going to cover two aspects of blockchain technology. First aspect would be why we are shifting to blockchain, and the second aspect would be definitely what is future, short-term future for blockchains, especially in Indian perspective. Because when we think of selecting any technology, what personally I feel that first we should think about really do we need that technology to adapt, and what are different design issues to be considered so that that particular technology would be a right choice for all of us to select. So recently, as Sharma ji has already mentioned, and when he was discussing with his daughter, that what is blockchain. So the concept is really interesting, and it is not a new concept. Initially, that concept was coined long back in 1991 by Haber, and the objective was basically to create document timestamping so that every document can be ensured that that particular document is not tampered. So basically integrity was main objective for adopting this concept of blockchain long back in 1991. Eventually, the same technique was in use in some or other form, but the key person behind this blockchain technology is Satoshi Nakamoto, that basically has coined this term in the form of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But unfortunately, Satoshi could not get the identification and recognition for his, and this complete credit is still open to the world to contribute. Now, when we look at this blockchain, first let's try to understand that why since last 3 to 4 years we are talking about blockchain. Why not before 6 years? Why not before 7 years? The world was not moving to blockchain and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So there are basically three important parameters to the adaptation of blockchain at faster rate across the globe. The first credit goes to big data. We should not forget that the big data is the most key element for adapting this blockchain technology to different commercial applications and use cases. But again, when we come to big data, we should also take into consideration that why big data is today, why not before 3 years, why not before 4 years. Big data was really not a buzzword before 3 years or 4 years. So again, another technology or buzzword comes into picture, that is Internet of Things. As we know that the number of devices connected to internet are growing at faster rate. And the reason is again, the availability of internet at cheaper rate. We should all agree that the rate at which and rate and speed at which internet is available today, it was not available before 5 years. And due to this, the cost of connecting is decreasing drastically. And due to this cost of connecting is decreased drastically, there are more number of devices connected to internet, and all these devices are contributing lot of data to public storage. They are contributing variety of data to this public storage. That is what we call it as cloud. And that's the reason when this data was increasing at faster rate. When we talk about big data, we know that big data is not in terms of only size. It has multiple factors like velocity, variety, complexity, and the format of data which is being posted. And definitely the issues came up, that is security and integrity. So all we should understand first, all the participants who are part of this one day online workshop on blockchain, I have strong request to all of them to take maximum benefit of this one day and to understand that when do we really require blockchain. If we go back to the simple banking scenario, I hope we all remember we used to stand in a queue and then we used to provide our passbook. Then passbook was being handled by a clerk person, and he used to make entries at multiple places. The reason why he used to make entries at multiple places, multiple registers, multiple pages was because the main reason is to ensure integrity, so that same record is to be recorded, same data, same amount, same figure is to be recorded at multiple places. Same concept is there in blockchain, as Sharma ji has recently mentioned that what is blockchain. So blockchain has two words. One word is block and second word is chain. And basically it is again, when we come to reason why it is basically distributed in nature, and because we are completely decentralized operating in decentralized fashion. Best example is now Zoom. Zoom is best example of decentralized cloud meeting where all participants are participating in this meeting from multiple geographical places. Same concept is there in blockchain. It is basically a distributed ledger, or it is basically a distributed database where transactions and records are maintained from multiple places. And this record, every record in this blockchain is termed at block, and they are linked with other blocks, and that's why the term is given as blockchain. When we come to a bigger picture, blockchain is basically a technology. And when we call something as a technology, when we build something on the top of it. But when we come to next level, at programming perspective, we should consider blockchain. It is basically a data structure, and the best example of data structure is like, you can take example of linked list, where every block is connected to another block so that we can trace the all transactions which are stored in respective blocks. So main objective for this blockchain, initially it was adopted in banking and financial applications. And eventually now the blockchain is also being adopted in many use cases, starting from Internet of Things, healthcare, finance, insurance, to logistic and retail. Now, when we talk about these different use cases, what is important is we should take into consideration the requirements of individual use cases with respect to adaptability of blockchain. Because we know that every use case have their own set of requirements and own set of challenges. And when we look into these requirements and challenges, you will understand that yes, to some use cases, adaptation of blockchain is really mandatory. But in some use cases, you will realize eventually that yes, blockchain, again, there is a need to rethink whether really we can adopt this blockchain to all the use cases. So again, when we talk about application of blockchain to, let's take a simple example of Internet of Things. Again, I would say, yes, you have to think twice to really apply blockchain to IoT, because there are many design constraints. There are many resource constraints when we plan to integrate blockchain with Internet of Things. Same thing also goes with healthcare. The reason why I'm discussing this, because nowadays, when we talk about something as a buzzword like machine learning, like blockchain, generally what we think that yes, blockchain is a emerging technology and we should adapt it immediately. But I would suggest no. Please see that really we need to apply blockchain to particular use case, looking into the performance metrics, looking into the design issues, and then we can think of, yes, really we require blockchain to this use case. Let me give you a very simple example. When we try to integrate blockchain with Internet of Things, there are multiple issues like storage. There is another issue like computational overhead. There is another issue like latency. There is another issue like really when we try to integrate any Internet of Things use case with blockchain, really it is going to provide us all performance metrics which are required by that particular IoT use case. So now looking into this, again, blockchain as a short-term future for Indian context. I don't know how many of you heard about a very interesting concept of self-sovereign identity. When we go back, there are basically multiple identity management models. In last decade, where the entire identity management model was relying on centralized identity management system, where there is an organization where who is maintaining identities of all the users, and the complete operating is centralized in nature. Now, eventually, when there was a single point of failure in case of centralized identity management system, then now we are now in the era of federated identity management system. I hope most of the participants are aware about federated identity management system, where we are basically now using federated identities. In federated identities, there is a service provider between user and organization, and we are relying on service providers. Basically, I would say in short, in federated identity management models, user is not the owner of their identity. The owner of their identity is basically service provider. Let me give you a very simple thread of this federated identity management model. As you know that almost amongst, I could see there are more than 250 participants are participating in this online workshop, and more than 200 participants must be having their account on Facebook, right? Am I audible to all of you? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
okay. So almost all more than 200 participants, those who are on online social network like Facebook or other, their login ID is Facebook ID is almost there is their email ID of Gmail, right? Yes or no? 90%.
yes.
90% of users are having their Facebook ID as their Gmail ID. 90% of the users are having their what you can say this Zoom ID as their Gmail ID. 80% of the users are having their Gmail ID as a user ID for Uber, Ola. So let's take a simple example that just assume that tomorrow Gmail is terminating your account. Please try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. That suppose Gmail is deciding that to terminate your account, so definitely try to understand you are nowhere on Facebook, you are nowhere on all other services where you have used your Gmail ID as a user ID for that particular service or for that application. So what I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to tell you that in federated identity management model, user do not have control on their identity, and everything is in control of service providers. So this is another biggest threat to federated identity management model. And that's the reason now we are moving to the new concept of identity. We call it as self-sovereign identity. The concept is really interesting and it is completely based on blockchain. So that's why I'm taking this use case so that you will understand how exactly the future of blockchain to short-term use cases in Indian context. So self-sovereign identity is basically user can create, user can manage, user can administer their own identity, and this entire identity management operations will be performed on blockchain. So this is really interesting use case where user is trying to create his own identity. As already I mentioned, in case of federated identity management model, we are not really not the owner of our identity. The owner of our identity is service provider. And in some point of time, as already I discussed, that if suppose the moment Gmail is terminating your account, then you are nowhere on other services where you use your Gmail ID as a user ID. So the new concept coming up, which is self-sovereign identity, where there are two basically two pillars of this SSI. The first is distributed identifier and second is verifiable credential. So let me give you a very simple example to understand how this blockchain will come into picture when we talk about self-sovereign identity. Consider an example of smart home where old age people are staying in a smart home, and this is smart home is IoT based where entire operations are being taken care by IoT ecosystem. And unfortunately, one of the devices working in the smart home is not functioning. So smart home ecosystem will log the complaint to service system, repair system, and then authorized person from that trusted repair service will come to smart home for repair. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, the smart home is equipped with all the devices, but unfortunately owners who are inside are bedridden, and the question comes is that now how to authorize and give access to this unknown person who is arrived at home to repair your devices. So in this case, the concept of blockchain will play an important role because objective of blockchain is to ensure integrity. Objective of blockchain is to ensure trust. Objective of blockchain is to understand data traceability. So in this case, what that repair or serviceman can do, he can create his own identity across the blockchain distributed ledger in terms of distributed identifier. When he will create this distributed identity, or rather the concept is like user can create his own identity at any time and he can present himself with some credentials, and in the context of SSI we call these credentials at verifiable credentials. So verifiable credential can be any digital credential which is given by his organization, and ultimately the goal is to authorize this repair person to the smart home. So this is simple use case which I would like to give you, because when it comes to giving an access to smart home, again the question comes how to process this distributed identities across the globe. So this concept is again related to blockchain, and blockchain and distributed ledger will take care of processing all these distributed identities across the different use cases. So what ultimately I would like to tell you that when we are looking at blockchain as a technology, and when we are looking at blockchain as a data structure, it is again a choice of solution provider. It is again a choice of design issues, and definitely in the entire day you will think you will discuss what are different platforms for implementation, what are different challenges when you develop small applications of blockchain in the real world. When we talk about the types of network, as we know that we are completely in decentralized and distributed system, where there was evolved when initially it was centralized network, then from centralized network we moved to decentralized network, and now we are completely into distributed network. So what I have a small request to all participants to understand, when we talk about decentralized network and when we talk about distributed network, what is exactly a difference between decentralized network and distributed network? What is an example of decentralized network? What is an example of distributed network? And in which type of use case, which is using either decentralized network or distributed network, blockchain will be more appropriate. Now, when we talk about the benefits of blockchain, as already I mentioned initially, it was just used as a document time stamping system. But now, as I have mentioned already, in this case, the immutable feature is the most important feature for blockchain, because the important point in the blockchain is the transactions which are taking place. They are not recorded at one place, but they are recorded at multiple places. And these multiple places are secured by appropriate hash function from cryptography. And that's the reason the main concept is, as already I have mentioned, the blockchain is immutable. So when we talk about this immutability feature of blockchain, that's the reason why it is being picked up at faster rate by almost all financial services as well as banking services. And as you know that most of the financial and banking services and transactions which are taking place across the globe are secure by blockchain. As you know that there is a concept of security by design. I hope you have heard about this term, security by design, because there is also another term, we call it as privacy by design. So the concept is when we talk about applying security to any use case, the security features and security solutions are not designed after the use case is built, but security feature is incorporated in every phase of that use case development. And that is the reason when we talk about blockchain, blockchain is also a very interesting technology which provides security by design, because the security is integrated with blockchain use case application development at every phase. So when we talk to a simple or some benefits of blockchain, so data traceability is one of the important benefit of blockchain. Second benefit of blockchain is the trust. As already I have discussed, trust establishment in this distributed and decentralized environment is really a big challenge, and it can be easily achieved using blockchain. Then easy data sharing, assured data quality are some another benefits, but the main and key benefit of this blockchain is integrity of data, which we would like to ensure during all transactions which are taking place in short time. So what I would like to come to the conclusion of this session, as I started with the same point that when we talk about blockchain technology and its benefit, the main point here is to understand first what are the requirements for the use case which you are planning to design. What are different performance metrics when you pick up a blockchain? As already I discussed, blockchain is a distributed ledger. So definitely we should rethink to apply blockchain when there are constraints like memory. there are some constraints like computational overhead, when there are some constraints like battery or the energy which is there with that particular use case. Because definitely always there is a trade-off. When we try to ensure security, there is a trade-off between time and space with respect to security. So always we should think that when we apply blockchain to underlying use case, are we really going to achieve all the performance metrics, or do we need to compromise with some performance metrics for that blockchain? So with this, I appeal all the participants to take maximum benefit of this entire one-day session on blockchain. Fortunately, you have very good expertise for next remaining day for with you, Dr. Parikh. He has expertise in developing real-time use cases in blockchain. So I request all the participants to take maximum benefit of this one day and see that you can start with small applications, because I'm very sure that one day is really not enough to complete or to cover multiple aspects of the blockchain. But I request to get into a small application development of blockchain on Ethereum and see that how exactly application development takes place. And then eventually you can think of building a commercial use case where you can really see what are different benefits of blockchain. With this, I would like to conclude my session. I once again thank you to Ganpat University, all stalwarts, directors, especially Satyen Bhai and Modi ji, for giving me an opportunity to interact with all the participants across the globe. I wish this entire day with full of blockchains and multiple applications which you will enjoy for entire day. Please take care, and let's pray that, as Sharma ji has already mentioned, we will be same as we were before Corona. We will be in the same situation after Corona. Thank you very much and good day to all.
Thank you so much, sir. It will also helpful for all the participants in this workshop. Now I would like to invite Dr. Kalpesh Parikh, sir, MD and CEO of Intelligence IT Sys Private Limited. Sir has an experience of 38 years IT blending technology process and domain. Sir has received a trophy from Amazon Rising Star Western region. He is invited to get enlisted in Who's Who in